What's up, guys? Welcome back to Digital Dive In, your proper game talk show.
Hey.
We are your hosts, fair enough, for Sandsology, wherever you find me at. And give me the Fupa or Haze Lord. Or today he's just give me das Fupas.
Give me two. I like multiples.
Give me all. So first off, guys, I want to apologize for the last video. Audio was funky. We're still getting the hang of this whole Riverside thing, seeing if it's something we want to do in long term. A couple of test recordings. This one seemed fine. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, guys, last week we talked about the Summer Games Fest, and we just went over like our favorite stuff that we saw and stuff that we really liked and enjoyed. So this week, we want to give you a more of a deeper dive into some of the games that either we didn't get too much time to talk about or we didn't touch on at all.
Plus, since last week, they've given us even more information about these games and done articles and interviews. So we have a little bit more information than what we had previously. So
yeah, we have a couple more like hands-on stuff from actual gamers, actual content creators who play some of these games or have seen more, interviews and such. So we're going to go through our thoughts in depth about these three games that were featured at Summer Games Fest. Jules is going to start off. Take it away, buddy.
Hey, so you know the term "be careful what you wish for." Well, it turns out in the gaming sphere, it's almost always true, right? We always ask for these sequels and these updates and these follow-ups to like 10-year-old beloved games, and then you get them, and it's not what you want. So I'm referring to Killing Floor 3. So we did get we got revealed trailers of the graphics of what they would look like over the past couple months, but the Summer Games Festival was the first time we got actual gameplay, what the game's going to look like, how you're going to interact with the game world, blah, blah, blah. So it looked good. The trailer looked good. And then some people kind of caught little snippets of certain things that they saw in the trailer that didn't look too hot. And then we saw an article with a more in-depth view talking about just pretty much how the game is going to play out and how, things are going to work. And so it turns out that in the interview it came out that they're getting rid of the class system completely. So your gunslinger class, your firebug, commando, these classes that you've been using since the beginning of the series and the perks are going to be done away with, and they're going to be replaced with specialists. Kind of similar to like Overwatch or Darktide, where you have a specialist tied to a specific character. You can't just pick any character you want anymore and buy any gun you want anymore. There are certain guns tied to each character along with a specialist tied to each character, and it looks like you'll get like a power-up that you'll be able to use and put on cooldown. This rubbed a lot of Killing Floor fans the wrong way. Me kind of also included, just because of the fact that I like the class system. I like my gunslinger class. I like my firebug class. And then they did do something like towards the middle of Killing Floor 2's life cycle where they allowed guns to overlap. So like you could use some SWAT guns because they added perk systems in certain classes to go with certain guns. So like you can use a SWAT gun even if you're a medic, or you could use a firebug gun and use the perks from the firebug gun even if you were a gunslinger. You know what I mean? They allow certain guns to be overlapped with certain classes depending on what the perks were and everything like that. So it allowed more experimentation with your fight style, with your gunplay style and everything like that. And then allowed you to make more experimental teams where you were playing on teams and stuff with 6 and allowed you to switch things up.
So like with the class system and the specialist system that they're doing here, what exactly is different? Because it sounds just like
so it looks like they're so instead of so like you could they had different characters, and different characters had like different personalities and stuff like that. So you could pick any character you want, and then pick any class you want, and pick any gun you want. And now it's all going to be tied to a specific character. So it's going to only limit.
So it's more like Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood or something like that, where like the character is a specific class of character. They have their own abilities.
But even in those games, you could play with any gun that you wanted. In this game, they're even restricting the guns to the class that you have. So
I got you. So like certain classes can only use certain guns. So like gunslinger can only use like revolvers, only that like example.
Yeah.
Or like a tank character could only use like grenade launchers or that kind of shit.
Yeah. So it's like it's even
Interesting.
being a little bit more restrictive than Back for Blood, which isn't really a good sign for
Yeah.
comparison. So they didn't really go into detail yet about how all this is going to play out. Of course, they'll probably will more. Maybe if we complain enough, they might reverse it or institute a new system, something like that.
I
Even though
mean,
the
when is
game
this game
is
supposed to come
scheduled,
out?
it's scheduled to come out in 6 to 10 months. So probably not.
Yeah, that's a
But
little late for them to like completely overhaul how they
I
built
mean,
this
we've seen that
game.
happen with other games, and we've seen Stranger Things happen. So
I mean,
they
fair. I mean,
they
fair. I don't
might.
know. Like, I saw the trailer, and I thought, as someone who has never played a Killing Floor game, I thought this game looked fucking lit.
I mean, it does look.
It looks like Left 4 Dead meets Doom, and I'm like, this looks fucking awesome, man.
I mean,
Like,
it does
shit.
look really good, and they are adding a lot of Doom Eternal quality of life things like a dash. They're adding body specific
Yeah.
body
Limb
damage and
damage. Yeah,
permanent
that's cool. I love
damage,
that.
which is really cool. And they're giving you more to work with. They're making the Zeds more dangerous as well, but it's like, and everybody kind of agrees where everything else looks great. I mean, of
Yeah.
course, it looks a little jank with the animations and stuff like that, but that's
I
going to
mean,
be.
yeah. I mean, the art style did look a little bit old in my opinion, but I
Yeah,
feel like that's just the vibe of the game.
it is, and I kind of like it, the
So,
gritty style of it.
yeah.
And then it's just that particular part of it just kind of rubs everybody the wrong way. So we'll have to see what comes up, what comes out of that later. And then here comes another game that I'm going to be talking about. Going to just straight slingshot right into it and use a
This time
segue
the roles are reversed.
yeah, exactly. This game, people wanted it to be more gritty, but apparently it's disappointing with the art style, and all of a sudden that's turning people off. But I'm still excited for it. This game is Avowed, of course. I have been excited for this game ever since the first reveal of it. 3 years ago, and honestly, I think people
Yeah, it's been
are
a
a
while.
little bit over exaggerating about the art style because I rewatched all of the trailers. In the very first trailer, you literally got a CGI cutscene, which are notoriously known for not looking anything
Yeah.
or whatever, any kind of accurate representation of what the game is
That's
going to
why I
look like.
think it was like, I don't know, misinformation,
I
false
don't even think it was
advertising for this
misinformation. I
because
just
like
think
because
I just,
okay, see that trailer, the very first trailer, the very first cinematic trailer was like
you literally got 5 seconds of
advertising
gameplay.
almost to the level of like the Coder trailers, okay? Where the Coder trailers looked, oh, so damn good. They look like freaking movies. And then you get the game and it's like fucking stick figures. I'm like, the fuck? It's like for someone who did not see any gameplay for like Coder or something like that before they bought the game, then they are just going off of those CGI trailers. Like, God, this shit looks like fucking Final Fantasy, man.
Yeah,
But then they get the
that's
game.
what it
Like,
was. It was just that's just they just went retro with that because that was just a blast
oh,
of blast
well,
to the
that's
90s
the,
age of
yeah,
gaming.
that was
Like,
the time of the game. Yeah, okay. But with this one, like the art style that they showed off, the art style that they showed off in the cinematic trailer, vastly different. Like this game literally looks like Fable. Fable graphics.
did not. It
Hella
didn't.
Fable graphics, which is fine for Fable because Fable is like a cartoony fantasy game. That's the vibe. That started off like trying to be a way more serious, dark, gritty game, and then we see the trailers. It's like, wait,
I mean,
this is so not what we thought it was going to be. Like,
I mean, it still is. Number one, number two. There is a such thing called a diversity of biomes and a diverse.
That's fine. I'm talking about just like the overall vibe of the game, though. Like, it's weird because they tried. I don't know if they like. It does look kind of like, you know, darker and grittier in terms of like, in terms of like,
yeah,
the story a little bit, but again,
I mean,
not nearly as much as what they hinted at in that very first trailer. The very first trailer, it almost looks like that they released that trailer and then did a complete 180 and made a completely different game.
No, I would have to push back on that because simply for the fact that it was they showed off the first trailer. They showed off like a gritty wartime, like dark clouds or whatever.
They showed you
That doesn't mean that the whole game is going to be dark and muddy. Like that's a specific. Sure, no, that's probably like a specific.
That's fine. I'm not talking about the tone of the game. I'm talking about literally like the art style that they chose and the way that the story that they showed off the story and like the characters and stuff, like kind of the vibe. right? Like it looks way more lighthearted than the first trailer showed off.
But you didn't really get a chance to see a lot of the art style. You saw like zombie soldiers, and then you saw a clip of a soldier firing an arrow, and then you saw the arrow go into the dungeon, and then you saw your hand and a sword. Like that's really all you saw. You didn't even see the golem. Yeah. Like you didn't see much of the game. And then like of course when they went the trailer that they showed off 3 years ago when they did that deep dive about the gameplay, and there was
that was last year. That was last year. That was in the last Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, they went over the different biomes and the different. There were some really dark.
Yeah, they showed off more of the game.
Yeah, there were like more darker tones and more darker like environments that were reminiscent of the first trailer. So I'm just like, when people say the art style throw them on, I'm just like, bro, like
I mean, honestly, I'm not the only person who thinks this because there's a lot of other people who are thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, I just think for Dragon Age, like save all that for Dragon Age. That's what they did for Dragon Age.
Because oh my god, they turned Dragon Age into Fortnite, and I'm mad.
They're trying to make a Dragon Age comparison and doing a Dragon Age thing. It's like, no, that's not it.
Like,
all right, it still looks.
Avowed might turn out to be good, and I have a feeling like if we can just like accept Avowed for what it is, not what it was going to be, and just take it at that, it might turn out to be a pretty good game.
I will say my one gripe when rewatching it is I remember why one thing I didn't think, or I was kind of worried about, which was the gameplay. Gameplay didn't feel as impactful and as meaty as I would like. And a lot of people said the same. Like the wands looked really cool. The guns did look a little bit lackluster, like the pistol and even some of the like sword play kind of looked a little like lackluster.
I've always thought that wands in a fantasy game are fucking dumb, but I'd much rather use like a staff or just native magic or some shit.
Harry Potter, bro.
I know. And Harry Potter is like a completely different situation.
It's fantasy.
No, it's the same thing. No, it's fantasy. I'm talking about like medieval fantasy. All right, I'm talking about medieval fantasy because like I don't know. For me, I think wands have always just been like a weird.
It's actually really good because it's not as obvious as a staff, and it's really hard to hit or break or be a target in combat because of how small it is. So it's actually pretty cool. It's really convenient. It's like a knife. You know, knives are very sneaky and dangerous because you can just pop it out, wow. So, you know, versus like a
so it's the knife of the magic world.
You're like fucking like so obvious. So Assassin's Creed is so deadly.
Fair.
But yeah, so that was my second game. I still think it's going to be good. I think this is going to be one of those games that's kind of like Jedi Fallen Order, where it's just like everyone was kind of skeptical about it. You know,
I don't think anyone was skeptical about Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, everybody. They were just like, it looks so slow. So I don't know if it's going to be good. And then it came out, and it was fucking awesome. Like it came out, it was fine. It was glorious. So I think this is going to be one of those things where like naysayers and all this other bad press because people's expectations got too high.
I'm willing to give it a try and just take it as like, you know, ignore the very first trailer we ever got and look at it from the two gameplay trailers we got and kind of just like reassess my expectations for the game.
Yeah, no,
but
that's fair.
I'm still, but
kind of, yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. I need to see more of the game. I need to play the game too. And when does that one come out? Is that what the release date yet?
This 2024, but they didn't give an exact release date.
It's probably going to be like November.
Summer. I mean, not summer, winter. Yeah, like November, Christmas.
Summer's coming out like next month.
No. Hey, I would not be surprised if they shadow drop something from Xbox this year. I would not be surprised.
No. Because the last thing they shadow dropped for Xbox, they closed down the entire fucking dev. Anyways, so salty.
You and me both, buddy.
So my one and only deep dive, because you know I didn't have time to watch the entire Summer Game Fest, but it was a game that we originally shitted on for completely different reasons than the actual game. We shot on this game for the way the dev was handling the monetization for the game.
Well, the publisher, one of them, we don't know which one it was.
Well, it's Ubisoft. So Ubisoft is made by Ubisoft. So
they published and developed the game?
Pretty sure. Well, might be wrong with that, but I know they're... I mean, Ubisoft made the game, so it's like, okay. Anyways,
yeah, Ubisoft.
It's Star Wars Outlaws. I have a love-hate relationship with Ubisoft, right? They used to be one of my favorite devs of all time. I love the Splinter Cell series, the Far Cry series, the Assassin's Creed series. All three, some of my favorite franchises of all time. So, like, old school Ubisoft used to be a lot better. New age Ubisoft, they've gotten a lot scummier, but their games have gotten kind of sort of better. It's a fucking weird situation. I don't know.
No, not
like
at all.
Assassin's Creed is.
I'm not even going to cut him
Assassin's Creed's going up and down in terms of quality of game. Again, Far Cry as well. Like the last Far Cry game was actually good, so I was like, okay.
They literally turned Assassin's Creed into the third-person action Call of Duty, and I'm very upset about it because it used to actually have some respect on its name.
I mean,
like,
kind of, yeah. For the last, like,
pumping them out, just to pump them out. Like, I'm just like, dude,
yeah, that's why they stopped. They used to, well, yeah, because they used to make them every single year. Then they stopped doing that because we were all just like, the fuck you doing, guys? Like, oh my god, it's too much. Two, we don't get to enjoy the game that much, and the
three comes out a broken half mess. Like,
exactly. No, I think what Unity or Syndicate was the last time they did that, and then they went the RPG route after Origins, which was Anyways, we're not talking about Assassin's Creed. We're talking about Star Wars Outlaws. We originally shit on it because of the pre-order structure that Ubisoft has. So obviously, I'm not going to pre-order this game as a FU to Ubisoft, and I also will not be getting the deluxe edition of this game as an FU to Ubisoft. I'll just be like, what? Fuck the job mission. I don't care if I can cost Ubisoft a little bit of money. I will do that. But
the thing about pre-orders, sorry, just a small tangent. The thing about pre-orders that I really hate the argument against is that, oh no, I'm not going to pre-order it, but you're still going to buy it anyway, right? So you're just complaining about not giving them your money sooner. That doesn't make any sense. They're going to get your money. They're going to get your money. Like,
I know they're going to get our money. So that's why I'm not going to get the deluxe edition for this game because fuck you, Ubisoft.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Yeah,
I'm not going to give them any extra. I'm not going to spend $90 on this game. No, I'm spending $70, and that's a reluctant $70. So, but no, the game itself. Just looking at the game, because I was super hesitant about this game. The trailers looked interesting, but I was like, okay, I have to see how this plays, how this is really going to go. It's completely free roam. The best way I can describe it is it feels like Jedi Survivor meets Starfield. And
without the actual Starfield not part of it. It's like scaled down, but like
so it's scaled down. It's not as vast in terms of like how many like systems and planets and galaxies there are in Star Wars, right? In Star Wars Outlaws. Obviously, it's not going to be as big as Starfield, but the fact that each system, like they went through a bunch of stuff in the trailer. They went through like the ship combat, exploration, world building, and then like regular like mission combat, stuff like that. So like they said, like every system you go to is going to have multiple planets that you can visit, and all of them, that's complete freedom. You can go visit whatever planet you want, land on it, explore around. It's going to have this decently sized map on every planet, which is sweet. Probably similar to what Starfield does. Technically Starfield, like you can walk around the entire planet, but every time you land, you have like a limited space that you can explore in. So you have to like get up and land, get up and land, get up and land. It's not just like you can walk around the entire planet seamlessly. No, you can't do that in Starfield. You can do that in No Man's Sky. You can't do it in Starfield. Odds are this is going to probably be like I don't know if there's going to be different places you can land on in each planet, or if it's just going to be like one area on each planet that you can go to, and it's going to have a pretty big map. Like we saw Tatooine.
I think that's what they're going towards, because I was watching some YouTubers. They got to play the game and they were kind of talking about it, and they were just like, yeah, the story kind of dictates where you go, and
sure,
you get a certain area to explore. You can explore that freely, but the way they made it sound, it was going to be more of a sandbox kind of feel, not an open world kind of feel.
Yeah, which I'm fine with too, because I do love sandbox games.
I don't mind it either.
Love sandbox games. I've been a sandbox game fan for years. All right.
I mean, all superhero games are pretty much sandbox games. Yeah. We've been playing them since we were kids.
Exactly. So like, I'm fine with that. I'm totally okay with that, because honestly, it kind of makes a little bit more sense. And I'm sure certain maps are going to be bigger. Like Tatooine looked freaking huge. Like Tatooine, I think, just disgustingly big.
I think I can already tell they probably took a missed opportunity to make this kind of show the darker side of Star Wars. Star Wars has a really dark side to it. Not no pun intended.
Sure. No,
It
yeah.
has a
No,
really dark, like adult, like really grimy, bloody side to it
Yeah.
with the black markets and everything. And I don't think they're going to take the cyberpunk approach, which I don't even mind. I cyberpunk just isn't my vibe, but I would have appreciated a darker, more cyberpunk, not cyberpunk in style, but cyberpunk as far as like
just like a grittier take on
more
Star
adult,
Wars.
like
more
13,
darker
13
take almost. Yeah, well,
yeah,
13
like
was
a more
be.
like if they would have made this
like
info mature,
Prey, for example.
Yeah, like if they would have made this info mature and kind of put like darker stuff that you can do, and I think I saw a lot of people say that too. Like if it's not, it's going to be. I feel like they're going to take the shallow end of the pool with this. Maybe this is the pessimist in me, and me hating Ubisoft, but it feels like they're going to take the Far Cry lazy kind of copy and paste, like side missions are just superficial and very surface level.
I can see that. I get the vibe that they're going for because they wanted you to play like
I don't think they're going to.
No, they're going for like a Han Solo-esque character, right? They're going for a Han Solo-esque character, someone who's like a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more, as a jokester kind of, but also like K Voss looks a lot more serious than like Han Solo did in his standalone movie and the original trilogy and the sequels. He was a very joking character all the time, whereas K Voss looks a little more serious here and there. So like the vibe itself, like there's certain areas that look more dark and gritty. There's others that look a little bit more lighthearted, lighter, kind of happy-go-lucky type of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how they blend like the dark, gritty underground of Star Wars with not wanting to just make a really dark, depressing ass game. But
the one thing I do, sorry to cut you off.
No,
the one thing I do give them credit for, and I do appreciate, which I did want to touch on, was the in real time landing on planets. I think that's really cool, and I think that really helps with the immersion of doing
100%
space travel, and it's what most of these space games don't do for some, like it's not for some reason. I get that development cost and having a structure.
We're still seeing this have like a cutscene to land and take off, but it's a lot faster and it's not like a full ass cutscene and a loading screen like we got with Starfield, which is one of my biggest gripes with Starfield. Was landing was a whole ass cutscene, and then you had to sit through a loading screen. This one it's a very short, like your ship just lands and then you can get out immediately. Or when you take off, it literally just the ship powering up and taking off. It's like a 3-second thing, 2-second thing, and then it's immediately you're controlling the ship.
You can actually fly into space. Like I think that's like, really cool.
That's super cool. I like that a lot. And suborbit or atmosphere flight. Another huge thing that love that. More space games need to do that shit. Mad we never got that with Starfield. God. So really, really happy we're getting that with Outlaws. The ship combat looks actually kind of good. A little bit clunky. Kind of reminds me of Squadrons. But
a lot of people compared it to Star Wars Squadrons,
which is fine. Squadrons I like Squadrons. I
got it for free off the Epic Game Store. I played it for 2 seconds and then I put it down because I'm not great at space games.
I love space combat games, so I was all in on that. And then we got to see like some actual like on foot combat, and that actually looked pretty good. Like the stealth looked generic as fuck, but of course it's going to a stealth game.
Actually, it is more of a stealth game. You're not really going head to head against combat.
You have the option to do whatever you want, really. Like you can go in quiet, you can go in loud. It's literally like play however the fuck you want to play this game.
I see a lot of people like arguing realism with this game, which is one, stupid because of Star Wars.
Yeah, right.
But two, I do kind of agree that stealth should have played more of a part. If you're a Jedi, I understand because if you're talking realism within the realm of Star Wars, then you can go in guns blazing or do what you want. As a bounty hunter, you need to be more careful with how you walk around and how you do things.
For sure. But at the
felt
same
like
time,
they should have put
at the
more
same
effort
time,
into the stealth.
at
That's
the same
just me.
time, Mando was a bounty hunter, and he never did stealth. Like,
Yeah, but
rarely
he's
did
also
stealth.
wearing super unique armor. She has no armor.
Fair.
She has
Yeah,
no
she
nothing.
was-
She's wearing
no,
regular
that's
street
valid.
clothes.
That's valid. That's valid.
So
The
I just
the combat, in my
yeah.
opinion, looks okay, and I have to really play it to see how it really feels, because you can only get so much just from watching it.
Yeah.
So that's
I
going to be
mean-
something I'm going to be interested in actually playing. I'm actually very much looking forward to this game. Like, this is a day
It's
one
not
purchase
that-
for me.
It's not that I'm not looking forward to it. It's that, number one, around the time that game comes out, literally Space Marine
yeah.
2, the game that I've been waiting for the last 3 years that got delayed twice is coming out.
Yeah.
The game that we both been waiting for to play together, and now I can't because you're going to be a daddy. And
Sorry,
then literally the month after Space Marine, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, literally the game everybody's been waiting for 15 years is coming out. So like it's just coming out around a bad time. Then after that, we got Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which once again, everybody's going to be buying that instead.
I honestly think that it is coming out at a bad time, but
this game is going to be, for me and for a lot of people,
it is going to be a unique game, because it's going to be one of the only single player games in a sea of multiplayers. So it will definitely attract that crowd, like your boy. So I think it'll perform fine for that audience, for that specific audience. But again, we'll have to wait and see how it's going to go.
For a lot of people, me included, it's going to be a holiday sale next year type deal, because I'm way more invested in.
I can see people picking this up Black Friday or Christmas, or like even into February or something like that. Like
I mean,
deal. I can see
a lot of people nowadays are like so turned off by all the jiveness of AAA games that, like me, for example, I've been way more invested in my indie and AA games this year because they're literally 75% of the price for a $60 feeling of a game. And when you feel like you're not getting ripped off constantly, it feels pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, no, you know? I haven't bought a whole lot of games this year, so yeah, I'm right there with you. But anyways,
and I think a lot of people. Well, number one, and the other reason why I'm holding off on this game, because it is Ubisoft. And, of course, when games come out like this, a lot of times they seem to be buggy, glitchy, whatever. I'm definitely going to wait, because not only am I not... Jedi games, by day one. This game, because it's not exactly my cup of proverbial tea. Like, it's weird, because I would have paid for 1313 day one, right? Like, that's fine. And this is trying to be the same vein, just not as dark and not as that. But even still, I think something tells me to just wait on it, you know? So, I think a lot of people feel the same way.
Okay, so it might not be a day one buy. I'm definitely going to watch a couple reviews, especially from GameRanks, shout out GameRanks, and see, you know, just what people think about it, what experts are saying about it, and then I'll make my own decision from there. But yeah, we'll see what happens. That kind of goes for all the games that we talked about today. So, guys, what was your favorite game that we talked about today? Did you have another one from Summer Games Fest that you really, really, really liked that we didn't touch on? Let us know all your thoughts in the comment section below. We always love to hear from you guys, and we usually always pop in and, you know, respond to those comments, unless they're, you know, shit hating comments like from our Assassin's Creed video.
Hey man, bring all your racism my way. I'll battle you all day long. Please do it,
guys. Thank you so much for watching. We always appreciate you guys hanging out with us, guys. Thanks. Hit that like button if you like this video, the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Still trying to get up to 200 subs. We got some giveaways to do, so get us there and we'll do a giveaway. It's free shit. Come on, what the heck?
Or let me do some reverse psychology. Hey, like if you hate black people. Haha, haha. Please do. I'll take a hate fan base.
How that works.
I'll take a hate fan base. That's fine. At least we get views. They just want to see me just to hate me. That's fine.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Tune in next week for another Proper Game Talk Show episode. Until then, we are Digital Dive-In. I'm Sandsology. This is Give Me the Fupa. We'll see you next week. Stay excellent. See you.